In the Loudr Lawyer Network, the podcast where we sit down with the law firm owners, attorneys, and visionaries that are making the most noise in the legal landscape nationwide to find out the secrets to their success. Other podcasts think they're getting loud, but we're getting louder. Let's get into it.
Welcome to the Loudr Lawyer Network, where we help attorneys scale to $1 million months using powerful strategies and connections. My powerful connection today is Brett Harrison from the Harrison Law Group. Welcome, Brett.
Hey, thanks for having me, Rajay. Let's knock this MF out of the park.
Hey, let's knock it out the park. Let's do that. I see snow back there.
Yeah, it's I don't know, somewhere between 18 and 24 inches, but that's not going to hold me back from being on your show, Rajay. The show must go on. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, the show goes on, man. I'm here in sunny San Diego, where it's about 80 degrees outside, and we're good.
As my dad used to say, nobody likes excuses. Just get it right, get it tight, get it done.
Get it done. With that said, man, I watched your website, looked at your website, man, and saw all the things that you do. But what I wanted to ask you is, take me back to the moment when you decided, how did you know you were going to become an attorney? And then what specifically led you into getting into personal injury?
Oh, there's multiple stories in that. It all starts
all day, man. Let's go.
It all starts, and my recollection is when I was 12 years old, my dad informed me that I'm the second least handiest person in the world. There's somebody worse than me because they think they're handy. My argument was I was better for the economy and I need someone to fix everything and to do things. He said, you cannot build with your hands. I said, I'm not interested. And I said to him, he goes, you're going to have perfectly smooth hands. I said, and I do. I said, but I wish I could build things, but I always knew that I wanted to be able to be, I guess the way to explain it is, I saw my dad getting beaten up in corporations. He worked in sales, and the people that were making decisions above him really had no clue. Right. And they were looking at bottom line without really understanding what goes behind the bottom line. They were more transactional and not relational,
right?
Relationships. And part of who I am is about believing that we were all put on this earth to be something special and phenomenal. Mm-hmm. And we all have different gifts in which we give back.
Right.
And where you leave a legacy. And for me, that legacy and my ability to help was through the law. And for me, it's understanding people. And like I always say, I'm addicted to hope because I think most people lack hope. And when you can instill that hope in them and faith that it's possible, what a world of difference when they lift their head up and you lift that pressure off their shoulders. I like running to the pressure instead of running away from it. And I like helping people just get through the storm instead of solving the storm. So, I'm just addicted to helping people. But I'm not a not-for-profit, and I realize that. But I just know I've done so much great things, and I have so much more to give. Which as I get older and older, I realize the power in which we all have individually, even as simple as saying good morning to someone that thinks, well, he's an attorney, he doesn't, they don't even acknowledge me. No. You have to let people know that they exist, that what they say and their presence is important. Everybody has something to give, whether you're a mailman, doing deliveries for whatever, for food services, everybody has something to give.
Street sweeper, a janitor.
It doesn't make a difference. We all have something to give. And don't value a person or a man by what they earn. That's not really how you should define success.
Wow. That's powerful.
But it's just me. You know, and when you come into my office in the reception area, it says hope on an angle. and it stands for Help One Person Every Day.
Mm. See, I see you use acronyms. So going through your, I went through your site. I had to check you out, man. And what hit me right off the bat was how you use the acronym SMART. And I did an acronym for your name too. And I'll tell you after you tell us. But tell us about how you came up with that. You left out what specifically got you into PI.
Oh, well, what happened with PI originally, when I first came out, and what I wanted to do, and I did for a while, was criminal defense.
Okay.
That was really my first choice. And then I ended up in a partnership with a couple of guys, and it really wasn't, we got a lot of cases and they needed help. And then I also realized that all the partnerships, the way each of us thought was very different. So it was only going to be a matter of time, possibly, before we split up. So I figured, well, there was three of us, if I get a third of the cases plus my criminal, at least I know I have that, and it's just another skill set. Right. And I realized the skill set is just about pattern recognition, just about like everything else. It's all about pattern recognition. So that's really how it was for me. So I knew I had to learn the area because our firm needed it where I was a partner. And I figured, well, it's just another skill set. So if we ever split up, I at least have a third of those cases. And that's ultimately what happened a number of years later. And I just stayed doing this and slowly distanced criminal defense. I do a case here and there, but that's really how I came into it, really.
Do you remember that specific case, that first case, that
my first case ever?
Yeah, no, I'm saying the first PI case where you were
I thought you were going to say first criminal case. That was far more interesting story because the
judge tell us about the first criminal case.
So I was doing while I was waiting for the bar results, I was doing for legal aid in Long Island in Nassau. I was doing like investigation work for them because I couldn't really do much. And I got to know one of the guys that was in jail. And so when I got my license and I passed the test, they hired me. Him and his mother hired me. And they hired me, I still remember, for $110 to start. It was a major felony. And
$110 an hour or just to start period?
To start period.
Wow.
And I didn't care because what was great, and I won't name his name because he was a cool guy, and I got to know him and his mom and ended up getting a lot of different cases from him, and then personal injury. He was the professor in jail, the jail lawyer. So I had all these people calling me all the time because what had happened was, thankfully I had a nice judge, but when we were at a conference up front, the judge said to me, well, listen, counsel, if you go to trial and lose, your client may be subject to more jail time. And that's standard. But I took it the wrong way. And I went back on the record and I said, Judge, you're penalizing him for exercising his right to trial. You told me that if he goes to trial and lose, you're going to give him more jail time. He went ballistic. Because no one ever does that on the record. He threatened to hold me in contempt and take me. And we got into a loud argument. And so that everybody was watching this. And, so he took that back into the jail. My attorney almost got thrown in jail over me.
Wow.
So it was kind of funny, but that's really not the way you should be doing things. What happens at a conference up close should be a little bit different.
Right, but what it seems like from everything you said, your compassion for human beings took over. It wasn't even about ethics at that point.
It's not about me. It's about them, Yeah. And also, which is funny now that you're reminding me of this, in my reception area next to Hope on the other wall, it says care, connect, commit. And that's how you get addicted to hope, and how you help people is by care, connecting, and committing with them. So it's always about the client first, not about you.
Right.
So, and So I've always been kind of about that, about care, connecting, and commit, trying to understand the client, what's really at the heart of what they're about, because I have to size them up as a client. How would they testify? Where are their, educate them so they understand what we're dealing with. Make sure their hope is reasonable, that it's not false, and that maybe they spoke to some other lawyers in personal injury who are just telling them what they want to hear.
Right.
There's over 1.2 million lawyers in this country.
Mm.
So I can't be everyone's flavor, nor do I want to be,
Right.
And I think as you get older, you start to realize what you stand for, what you stand out for, what you stand for should never be for sale. And that to me is never for sale, because if you're asking me to sacrifice that or put that in question, then it's time for us to part as attorney and client.
Mm.
And you have to be true to yourself and what you stand for.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's well said. So take me what moment happened where you came up with the acronym for SMART? I found that to be very interesting.
I must have saw combinations of it along the way. I think I've evolved that a little bit more now, to be honest.
Take us through it. I have some of them here: strategic, measurable, achievable, realistic, and transparent. I mean, that pretty
because
much.
I think that's what people need to understand, because it has to be strategic, meaning if every case can't just be put in a can and it's the same for everybody, the same strategy. That to me is about one of what I call the Copernicus law firm. The Copernicus lawyer or law firm it's only about them. The world revolves around them.
Mm.
And that's the person in the firm that's only focused on results. For me, I'm focused on you, because without you, the client, I don't have a law firm. And when I focus on you, I'm focusing on your strategy. All those letters that you just mentioned. I'm not going to go through them all, but I'm focused on you. So I create the strategy, I create that momentum. And when I do that, I'm focusing on the process. And when I focus on the process, that's where the success comes. And when you focus on the process and the success that way, the results will come. When you just focus on the results, you're only focusing on money. And they print money, they don't print people.
Mm.
So
that's a bar right there. Oh, that's a bar.
So when you focus on people, who's better at referring to you for other clients, So for me, I really want to focus on getting them, I guess what I call, okay, I'm going to give you two more acronyms since we're on acronyms.
Hey, do acronyms, because I got an acronym for you that I did with your name, so you're going to love this.
I'm going to call it LSD and CIA.
LSD and CIA?
Yes. And what I've learned is when I'm dealing with people, let's not focus on how much your case is worth. Let's focus on you. What's important to you? How is it affecting your family, your job, whatever this accident has done? Because like in California and San Diego, here in Long Island, you need a car to get around. You can't rely on public transportation very easily. So LSD is about stop first, listen how you talk to yourself. And I want them to listen how they're talking to themselves. And say, if somebody else talked to you the way you're talking to yourself, you'd punch them in the face.
Mm.
And I said, you cannot only be your biggest critic. Why me? Why is this happening to me? Why does this? Why not you? Okay, you're there. So listen how you're talking to yourself. And then you have to, S stands for stop, because you have to not only be your biggest critic, but be your biggest cheerleader, be your biggest fan. Because if you don't believe in yourself, why will anybody else?
Right.
And so you have to listen and then declare, I am enough. I am going to get through it. But sometimes you need the help of other people. But I first have to get you to believe in yourself that it's possible.
Right.
And I'm going to show you a way. You might not know how to do it. That's why you come to us. That's why you come to a seasoned attorney. Just like if I go into your whatever business they're in,
Right.
Listen, I could read. Knowledge is one thing. Applied knowledge is another, based on experience and exposure. Just like I could read about arthroscopic knee surgery from Friday to Monday morning. It doesn't mean Monday night I'm going to perform surgery on my daughter. So and then the CIA is something that I kind of live by personally and in my business, which stands for consistent, intentional action.
Wow.
And I like that. I like acronyms because that's how winning is done.
Right.
It's about being consistent, intentional,
right,
in its action. And one thing I really want to get through, Raj, for our listeners and for anybody, and it has nothing to do with law. Everybody is so focused on speed and quickness.
Yeah.
And I think that's wrong, because if you go on a train the wrong way, you're that much further. It's not about being first or being the fastest. It's about intentional action and an intentional direction, because that's what gives you, when you're in the right direction, it could be slow, it could be fast. That's how winning is done. It's consistent, intentional action. It's not about motivation. It's not about, I feel good today, I'm going to do it. No, it's just constantly doing what's made you successful.
Right.
It's mastering the mundaneness of winning.
Right.
And, so that to me is what it's about. I don't know if that answered your question. Or
no, I mean, that's perfect. I'm thinking of the story of the tortoise and the hare. Yeah, the tortoise kept going. The hare was fooling around, stopping, doing things. He got full of himself, and at the end, the tortoise came through.
Right. It wasn't the speed. It was the intentional action.
Absolutely.
So it's about making sure your direction is right. When you know your direction is right, and you're going, and you're showing, to me, the C could also stand for commitment, because when you commit to yourself, and meaning you follow up on the promises that you made to yourself,
yes,
and you do it with intentional actions, with consistency, that action builds momentum. And once you have that, your identity and your belief in yourself increase. Wow. And that's how winning is done. And that's how other people believe in you. Most people are what I call seeing believers. They don't believe it until they see it done.
Right.
Even family members, they're not going to believe you. And that's why it's your vision. It's your vision because you understand it, you see it.
Yes.
And most people don't see it for numerous reasons. One, they want to crap on your vision. Two, they see themselves in your vision and they realize that they don't have the commitment to themselves and the disappointment in themselves. So I always feel like I have to be that leader, not just for my team, but for my children. Because most children it's not what's taught, it's what's caught. What they see you do, not what you say you're going to do.
Right.
And you don't know if what you're doing, Raj, the littlest thing, you might not even realize it, could be somebody's blueprint for success, that they actually believe in themselves.
Right.
So always perform at your best, even when nobody's looking, because that's how you train yourself to be the best.
Yes, sir.
So, and like I've told many people, be the best you, everybody else is taken. So, and pound for pound, Raj, who's better at being you than you?
Absolutely. And you know what's interesting about this? Like what I picked up from you, that the acronym SMART really stood out to me. So listening to you talk, I think I got an acronym for Brett that
I got to write it down.
Write this down.
Hold on. I like acronyms, unfortunately.
So this is on your first name, Brett.
Okay. I remember I have 2 T's.
I got you. So the B, brings calm.
What is it?
Brings calm.
Oh, brings
Calmness. Brings calmness. All right. And then this is for people, your clients, or whatever. The R, responds quickly. And what I mean by that is you know the answer, you know where you want to take your clients or where they need to be. So you already had that response already ready for them. Like what you've been talking about already, right?
Well, what I like about response, I like responsibility. It's your ability to respond.
Right.
Response. I like.
Yeah. So responds quickly. I mean, it's already in your psyche. The E, earns trust. I don't know you, but I already trust everything. Everything you're saying right now is it flows out like water, man. It's like it's a part of you, like opening your eyes, seeing, or putting your hands out there, touching.
Well, that's why I think you should always be what you are personally and bring it into your professional life.
Absolutely.
You don't. I could be coming here with a suit and tie.
Now I love the way. I mean, the way
I don't. But here's the thing.
Like,
here's the thing I've realized, and this is definitely a function of getting old, Raj, is that everyone's so worried about what other people think.
yes, sir.
80% of the people that you think about you don't, and 20% are glad it's you and not them. And they ain't paying my bills, so I don't really care. If I know I'm true to myself, it is what it is, man.
It is what it is.
March on. Okay,
right.
what's the first
so the T? T is translates complexity. And then the other T is treats clients like family. What I got from you in talking is that the compassion, the compassion and competence. It's a blend of those that comes out when you're speaking. So that was my acronym for you.
I like it. And when you talk about complexity, it's funny. I heard a great quote, and I don't know who said it. Complexity makes you sound smart. Simplicity makes you money. So, and I think business really comes down to the same things no matter what type of business. Everyone says, wow, my business is unique. Come on now. Everybody can say that. I'm different. I think you have to show them why you're different.
Right.
And you have to let it come out naturally. And I think that's what is great, because for me, they don't make statutes of average people.
Right.
You need to be phenomenal. You're put on this earth on a short time. Be phenomenal.
Be phenomenal.
Make a difference. And you have to believe that you can. And I believe like one of my favorite people is Ed Milet. I don't know if you've heard of Ed Milet.
Who? Ed who?
Ed Milet, Milett. Really, he gives great content about being the best you, about what it takes to be successful. He talks a lot about a lot of different things, different aspects of faith, and just so many. He's very successful in business, but it's not because he's any smarter. It's because he knew how to work hard, and he has special ability to read people. You don't have to be the biggest fallacy is you have to be the smartest. There are plenty of smart people that don't do anything in life, And I think one of the things that he had said, and he showed a picture one time on a lecture. He showed a guy at 7-Eleven. I don't know if they have 7-Elevens in.
Oh man, we got California. There's 7-Eleven on every corner.
Okay, you know how in 7-Elevens sometimes you have people that are misfortunate or unfortunate, maybe could be homeless, going through a time, and they're sitting against like the garbage can and sometimes you see them.
Are they opening the door for you?
Oh, that. But if they're sitting against the garbage can with their head down because they're too embarrassed for whatever reason, and you see them with like lines of free donuts, because sometimes if you buy $7 worth, you get free mini donuts. So right. You see a lot of them. The only difference between them and me or you is choices. One or two choices. one or two choices or three choices, I could be there. One or two choices, they may have made a difference, could be where we are.
Mm.
So never underestimate the power of choice. But with choices, you always have the ability to rise above it.
Right.
You know, you can make mistakes. You just gotta just fail fast. That's one thing you learn is fail faster.
Mm.
Because that's how you're going to get to the top, you know. And I wish I have to get the painting. You see this painting of a big wall, and you see a ladder with two perfect rungs, but it only gets you here when you have to get here.
Right.
Then you see another ladder goes all the way to the top with the rungs, some this way, some this way, some this way. So it's not about perfection. Too many people strive for perfection, but will never get to the top.
Right.
You need to have, sometimes the rungs aren't going to be perfect.
Right. And you got it.
But I'm going to get to the top while you're still sitting there.
Right.
So, you know,
you find a way to move regardless of what you're.
You got to take the chance. You got to take the chance, you know. You can't be, what do they call that? Monday morning quarterback that never gets into the ring or never gets onto the field.
Mm.
You know, you can't constantly give bleacher-like efforts expecting to be in the front row. And that goes with everything in life, you know?
Yes.
And another California guy that I follow, Bedros Keuilian. Do you know Bedros?
Bedros Keuilian. I've heard of that.
Yeah. He says average is the enemy.
Mm.
Because if you're average, you're like everybody else, right?
Right.
And what is average? The top of bad and the bottom of good.
Right.
Imagine when you were born, did the doctor slap you and then say to your mom and dad, "Oh, here's your average baby. He's just going to be average." Oh no, he won't be anything great. He'll just be average. Oh no, he's going to be average. No. Right. So why should you accept being average? When your kids come back and say, "We got average grades." Oh, okay, that's good because you're just average anyway.
Mm.
No, it should never be your standard.
Right. Always encourage them to be better.
Right. And just think, like, I know you have children and I do too.
Yes.
I'm always constantly telling them, don't be average. You can be great. You can be great. You have to instill that confidence in them and believe in them.
Absolutely. And get them sometimes to believe in themselves.
Yeah, because it's scary being a teen now.
Yeah.
You know, there's always that comparison. It's this and that. And, you know, and comparisons okay sometimes because sometimes there's truths in that.
Right.
And you have to see, what can I do better? What can I learn from this?
Right.
And you got to hold your head up, you know?
Right. Absolutely.
Listen, I'm not going to be the perfect one. Listen, like I always tell my kids, look at my brother. He's 6 years older. He's got salon quality hair. Do I have that? No, of course not. I'm not 6'2". I'm not with 6 abs.
Right.
Like, you don't need that to make a difference.
Nuh-uh.
You know?
You just need the good heart that God gave you and follow those principles that you learn in life.
Right. And remember, we got now.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's not promised to anybody.
Tomorrow's not. Well said, man. I mean,
tomorrow is not promised, man.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
What's your legacy? What is the legacy? You know, I mean, you know, so you can't tell your child or your teen you can be anything, but yet you didn't try to be.
Right.
Because then what kind of example is that? Because they can turn to you and say, but why didn't you do it? And you're just going to come up with excuses, right? You hear it all the time. Well, if this happened, these people got a break. Come on. There's always going to be someone that was better positioned than you, grew up in a better situation, bad. Whatever experiences you had, good or bad, is what probably gave you the ability, is what you're most experienced to talk about. Right. You have to look at those experiences, you know, and we all could think of excuses why you can't do this. Oh, I didn't grow up in the best neighborhoods, or this, my parents were divorced. Or none of that was for me, but I can think of excuses for me.
Right. So that brings me to a good point. You said something. You talked about that ladder. So let's take you back to that ladder that you were talking about with the wrongs, with the
Yep.
wrongs, right? What twists and turns? What was difficult on the ladder where you are with your career? What challenges did you find that you had to overcome in order to strive to be the best attorney, not alone the PI attorney? Because you have a whole list of things that you practice, or you defend, or you work out for your clients in terms of dog bites,
Okay.
child injuries, malpractices, like every area.
I'm going to start it with, again, a quote. Okay. There's an African proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, no enemy on the outside can defeat you.
Mm.
And what I mean by that is, when you first start, you have a lot of confidence. And then you're not sure if it's imposter syndrome because there's so many people that seem to know more than you, and it gets scary and you start doubting yourself.
Mm.
And you start measuring yourself from the outside instead of from the inside. And once you realize what you have to offer and what you're best at, you got to keep harnessing that and keep building. And you start to realize that, like when I built my firm, that sometimes you have the wrong people in the wrong seats, or shouldn't even be in the seat in your office.
Mm.
But you're like, well, they're good. They're, maybe it's me. It's that lack of confidence in knowing what you're about.
Right.
And I think as you get older, you realize what you're about, what kind of atmosphere that you want for your team. And that there's another thing on the wall in big brass letters. I'm looking at it from here. It says success is a team sport.
Mm.
You can't do it all yourself. And that's the one thing, oh, I can do it better. Nobody can do it like me. That's a common theme with attorneys. Man, you know what? Hire the best people. They're representatives of you. If your standards are here, but you hire people well below your standards, you will never get to the rise to where you want to. Hire the best people that fit in alignment with what you believe, how you want to treat people, and constantly train them.
Yes.
And what's really made me better is I'm not afraid to surround myself with a lot smarter people, because I know what I'm good at, but there's things I can learn, and for me, my staff, a lot of them have been with me many, many, many years because they're great at what they do. They have certain abilities that they're good at, the right seat. But the important thing is you have to hire them with what you stand for. And that's never for sale. And you have to explain to them what's expected, And I think you have to be a leader. A leader is about being in front and understanding. I don't call it leadership. I call it leader shifts with an FT. Because you have to know when to shift. It's your ability to see. It's about pattern recognition in whatever industry you're in.
Right.
You have the ability to shift and also to listen to all your employees, find out what's important to them. You as a leader have the ability to make other dreams come true for other people. And I think being a great leader is about not stepping in front when need to be, but staying in back when things go well.
Right.
You don't need to be up front to say, I did it. No.
Wow. The humbleness.
But I understand the concept of team. There's, but there is an ME in team since I pay for it all. So, but you have to understand that you have to look at your staff and don't see them for what they are. See them for what they could be.
Right.
And make their dreams go. Listen to it. It's not only about money. And some of the best ideas that one thing I will say for any business, the most valuable asset most people do not utilize, and that's their team. On a quarterly basis, I'll sit with my team and say, what can we do better for clients? What's some ideas of marketing? Because they're all different ages.
Right.
What, what else do you see we need to change? What are some good ideas that you have? Boy, some of the best ideas and changes to processes, that is such the key. Why not utilize what you already have in front of you?
Right.
You don't need to go outside all the time.
Right. The ability, as you said in your own words, the ability to be able to shift, know when to shift. I saw something that falls into this about you. Your cases, most of your cases settle. Very seldom, you said, do you go to court.
Well, we go to court, not necessarily always to trial,
right.
Because if you position it right, you set reasonable expectations with your client, let them know this is the framework, this is where we need to get to, this is how we're going to get there, and you keep them informed along the way. You earn their trust.
Right.
Because if you just wait till the end and say, oh, we have to make a decision, and they couldn't pick you out of a lineup, they say, well, my case isn't big enough. Well, it is important to you, isn't it? And I don't like that concept. It's still a case. If I took it on, that means I see something in it. I believe in you. So the reason a lot of them don't go, and most cases don't, not, malpractice cases will go, but I don't really do too many of those. But it settles because you position it to win, to settle. And you position and keep your client aligned so that we're on the same, and there's a sense of trust. So when you say, I think this is the reason why we should resolve it. Everybody has different reasons for it. Some could be financial, some could be time, some could be, I don't really want to take the chance. And so that's really what that to me is why a lot of cases that go to trial, or some cases not on my end, but is for people that have done nothing with the case and it's too close to what's known as the statute of limitations, so they have no choice because they neglected the case. So, if you're going to take the case on, it's a serious thing. It's no joke, man. You got to take your job serious. You got to show up when you don't want to.
Right.
You don't just stop when you're tired. You stop when the damn job is done. That's how winning is done, man. It's not about, once you realize it's not about you, and the results are in the process. It starts in the process. So you're focusing on people, not money.
Right.
It's not the result. The process will get you to the result.
Man, you have dropped so many gems right now, like bars. You're from Long Island. I was mentioning to you earlier, talking about De La Soul. You have the lawyer bars, pun intended, like just down. The human side of it is like really connecting. How do you? I think you set a standard for branding and marketing and stuff. How do you get about? How do your clients come about? Because you're setting a precedent right now that I think other attorneys need to follow. I've had different attorneys on here and stuff, but the way you articulate and go through it, I said you're like flowing water, man. It's phenomenal. It really is.
Thanks.
I think that it needs to be seen in a way that people understand, because you have a touch that very few have. Because
it matters to me. People matter. Like I told you before, they print money. They don't print people.
Right.
You came into this world with nothing, and the chance of you becoming a human from a sperm is 1 in 4.2 trillion million, 1.4.2 trillion. So you already beat the odds.
Right.
That's the way I look at it. And I just think if more of people thought and cared about people, not just for their selfish selves, but let's give back. Let's get addicted to hope. Yeah. And with hope comes faith, right? And you know what faith stands for? I'm going to give you another one now.
Come on. Oh, I know what faith stands for. And when I look at it, what is faith? What is faith?
Find answers in the heart.
Okay.
And you know, too many people live on fear, so they never do anything. What do they say? The best ideas are in the graveyard. They died with the people because they were too
Right.
afraid to take a chance.
Right.
And the acronym for fear, for me, is finally exiting average reality. When you will go over that fear, you're finally going to exit that average reality that you put yourself in. So, you know, no matter where I go, I got to take myself, right?
Right.
You got to look in the mirror every damn day. And you got to say, I got another day to make a difference. I'm here. I still got more to do, man. You got to die on E, you know, and you always have something to give no matter what age it is, you know, and it's much easier to connect your dots of your life going backwards when you look back, you know. I've never been more energized, and I'm 60, and I've never been more energized for what's possible and what I'm going to get done, you know.
Hey man, give it up for the 60s, man. I'm 61.
Exactly.
So, you know what I
And
mean?
don't you feel very different at 61 than you did 20 years ago? Your sense of self should be different.
Right. The things that I thought was important then, they're not as important anymore. It's like you said, it's more about the value of where I stand. I mean, for me, it's been a road of constantly changing and looking at what, you know, God has done inside of me, and it's made me be more aware. So for me, it's constantly trying to be better for
Right.
what he has in alignment for my life.
And it sounds like you'll probably agree with this statement. Once I was 60, which is just recent, my sense of speed and urgency is got to pick up the pace. And the closeness to the realities that I want to hit and the things I want to do, my perception of how far it is, it's not as far as I thought.
Right.
It's closer.
Right.
I got to pick up the pace,
Right.
you know? And that's why when people ask me a lot of times, you know, when somebody says, how you doing? You go, fine, fine. I never say that. I always say blessed and empowered.
Woo! Come on.
Or I say I'm blessed and highly favored.
Come on.
You should be, because you are blessed that you're still here.
Absolutely.
You're blessed to give it another day, and you're highly favored because you are.
Right.
You have the ability to make the difference.
Right.
And I think, I don't care what profession you're in. That's what I'm saying. We're all put on this earth to be phenomenal. We all do it in different ways. You're contributing by giving people a voice for other people to hear. You might affect that one person.
Right.
And that's great. And that's why I always take the chance to do this, because can I inspire someone that says, well, I'm not that smart, I'm not this perception of what a lawyer is. It's more in your mind than in reality. It's just training. That's all it is training.
Right, absolutely.
And you could be great at whatever it is. Maybe you're a great father, a great mother, or whatever it is. That has an impact on people. You know.
Yeah, well said. So you've dropped so many jewels here. So what would you tell you have a successful business right now, you know, you're growing. And what ways do you go about, how do you get your business? What type of
you know, that's ever changing too. You know, it's no longer hanging a shingle outside, so to speak, the lawyer with the shingle. A lot of it's through prior clients, and that relationship more than it's as a transaction.
Right.
You know, remembering when I speak with them, something that they told me about their son, their daughter, that's not written anywhere.
Right.
A lot of times I see people, not good with names, but as soon as I see you and we're face to face, I'll remember something that you may have told me.
Right.
That was nothing to do with your case, but it shows that what you say makes a difference. That's So that's one way. Also, obviously, the internet, through advertising,
Right.
through showing up. You got to show up. There's no escalator or elevator to success. You got to take the damn stairs, man. You got to get one foot in front of the other, man. You don't run a marathon with one step. You just, and you don't accidentally run up a mountain. You got to have a plan.
Right.
And I think too many people don't. They just don't do what, they don't look for help and trying to see where their organization is weak. Because if nothing changes, nothing changes. Why should you do better in 26 if you do everything you did in 25? You must change your habits. And nowadays, it's much different than it even was 2 years ago, 5 years ago, certainly 20 years ago. You have to run just to run to be where you should have been 2 weeks ago.
Right, absolutely.
And you got to have that ability to just say, I got to catch up to myself. What needs to change? Where can I tweak something 5%, 10%? Who can help me with this? You can't do everything yourself. Right. You're not an island.
Right, well said.
Growing up, same time as you, my dad, like yours, probably said the same thing. Figure out yourself, man up. Well, what does man up actually mean?
Right.
Woman up.
Right.
I think those definitions have changed in a lot of ways,
Right. No, definitely. They definitely have. If a young lawyer or your younger self, what you know now, what would you tell the younger you or a young attorney that walks into your office? What advice would you give them, knowing everything that you know now?
I'd want to find out about them, what's important to them. And they need to realize that what's important to them now should remain, but that may change over time. And understanding the difference between confidence and identity. And that you're only going to get confidence by doing the reps. Just like with barbells, you're only going to get stronger by doing the reps. You don't work out for a week and all of a sudden you're much stronger. You gotta put in the reps. And what that does, and you need to be strategic, plan. Don't try to do 30 things every day. Pick out the things that are going to move the needle and make a difference. And understand the difference between them. And the more you keep those promises to yourself, the more confidence you get. And the more confidence you get by keeping those promises and by seeing the results, because it takes time. By doing those reps,
yes, sir,
you will build a better identity for yourself of which cannot be bought. And take the time, slow down. It doesn't happen in a minute. You might get lucky here and there, but I love when people say, oh, you're just lucky. I said, I've been lucky for 20 years. I said, and understand where understand the difference of you don't need to fit in all the time.
Right.
And remember, look how people treat you. That should show you everything you need to know. And are you an option or a priority? And you got to learn to trust yourself, your instincts, and be patient. Keep doing those reps. It'll come. It might not happen quickly, but you got to be like a dripping faucet. You just keep on coming.
Right.
Just keep on coming. You can't always be gushing. Just keep on coming. Just keep on going. Keep putting in the reps. Keep learning how to one thing is you got to work on yourself. Not just your profession, but you got to work on yourself too.
Right.
And keep yourself strong. And the one thing I wish I could have done better is trying to be present wherever my feet are, 100%, whether I'm at home or whatever. I'm sure you've been told, hey, Raj, did you hear what I said when you're at home? And they say, well, no, I was just thinking of, no, enjoy it.
Right.
And the other thing I will tell you that I think, and I've explained this to my kids, is that there's a reason you want to make money. so you can have experiences and share experiences, because people remember the experiences. You remember the experiences. Money comes and goes. Money's not meant to just sit in your pocket. It's for experiences,
Right.
and to give back to people as well,
Right.
because that's the key. Is the people around you. How many people that make money are miserable? How many people that don't have money are happy?
Right.
It's who you surround yourself. Be careful who you surround yourself with. If you're
Yeah,
going to hang around with 5 losers, you're going to be the 6th.
yeah, absolutely. Well said.
And if you're going to hang around with people whose thermometer's at 100 and you're at 70, you will see you will rise.
Right.
And don't be afraid when people say, don't be afraid to give people less of your time.
Mm.
You know, those that say, do you remember when? Those are people that are living in the past. Doesn't mean to give them up, but how much exposure that you give them of your time, you can't get that back. Surround yourself with situations that are going to make you better. Obviously, don't forget your past.
Right.
But that's life. You know, people are going to be unhappy when you say, oh, that's not who we are. That's not how you grew up. That just, maybe they see something new that they wish they had for themselves. And is it really worth your argument with them? Even with family members, it's just not.
Right.
It's unimportant. It's just going to frustrate you. That's how I look at things. So there's a lot of things I would tell myself, but you know what? You got to experience it. You're going to get burned. You're going to make mistakes. You're going to fail.
Right.
That's how you learn.
Yeah.
That's how you get exposed. Just fail faster.
Yeah, fail faster.
And you know, the ground hurts when you're on it. It's not going to help your ass up. You know, but sit down there for a little bit and think about the lesson. The failure is when you don't get up and you quit.
Right. No quit. No quit.
No, it can't be all gas also, you know, but
there has to be a balance. There has to be
a balance. You're going to lose, and you're going to have seasons where you win and seasons where you lose. But in those losses, you can learn a lot too. What can I do better? Or even in success, what can we do better? You always got to try to be improving. You always got to be moving forward.
Moving forward, not backwards.
No, you can't. And stop with the plan B.
Right.
I hate that. Well, I have plan B to fall back on. Why am I falling back? Right. I want to see what the hell I'm going to fall into.
Fall forward.
Exactly. Fall forward, man. Why do you need a plan B? You're already giving yourself an option to fail.
Right.
When you say, every year when I sit down, probably in December, and I say, what are the 4 or 5 things I want to work on? And that's all I work on. And then, and I give myself guideposts. And once I've committed to that, that's it. It's no longer, I'll try. I'll try is an option to say no and fail.
Right.
Stop. I don't give, I'll try. No, this is what we're doing. I don't feel like doing it. Well, too bad. That's not how winning is done. Winning is, you need to win each day. Stop focusing on the big picture. What are the steps to win each day? You win each day, you win the week, you win the month, you win the quarter, you win the year. That's what I do with my staff. We define what winning for each of their jobs is. And you need to do that for your life. What is winning? What do I need to win this year? How am I going to do it? What are those steps? What are those markers? That's how I look at it.
Well said.
It's simple. I'm not that smart. All I can do is follow procedure and keep the commitments I made to myself, which then gives me confidence and gives me a stronger identity of who I am and what I stand for.
Right. That's well said, Brett. That's why you're so successful in what you're doing. So when I asked everyone this, and this is going to be the question that, just wraps everything up, and then we'll have you drop your information on how people can get a hold of you, clients can get a hold of you. What does the phrase Loudr Lawyer mean to you? When you hear the phrase Loudr Lawyer.
Well, if I pronounce it Loudr, like they're being loud.
Loudr, Loudr. Either way. That's just a phrase I like to that. What does a Loudr Lawyer mean to you?
Well, if I look at with the ER louder, that means someone that needs to be up front because they're insecure. They don't need to be in the back. But when I think of it in LOUDR, I think of it, they have something to say to give back, like in the Loudr Lawyer Network. To me, that means they have some wisdom from pain, suffering, and experience and exposure that they can offer to other people to hopefully cut down on mistakes. That's how I look at the Loudr in this sense with the DR instead of ER. I look at it as a place for people to share their experience and knowledge through pain and suffering. And that maybe we all want to give back. I think everybody wants to give back and make somebody else's path easier. As I've always learned, if you want to know the road to success, look at those coming back from it.
Right.
That's a Chinese saying, by the way, but
man, that's well said. That's well said.
So I think the Loudr Lawyer to me is about the road to success. If you want to learn the road to success, look at those coming back from it that are on your show.
Right. Oh, well said. Well said. Over here at Loudr, we look at everything that you've mentioned, the acronyms and the paths on which you have gone, and it bleeds out to people, giving back, being involved in charities in the community, having the rally around, supporting, those that have supported you, reaching out and giving back. And you seem to do all those things well. So you would be the Loudr Lawyer.
One thing I will tell you, and I think I've only recently come to realize this, one of the reasons I try so hard is for all the relatives that got me here that I never met, from the 1800s, whatever they came from, all of them sacrificed. I owe it to them to give my best efforts. I wonder if they were alive, would they be proud? Can they look and say, yeah, we got you here, all of us combined. What did you do with it? And I always want to make those relatives that I never met proud of me.
Right.
So.
Oh man, well said. Tell us how we can get a hold of you.
Well,
drop your info.
You can reach me on my email, Brett, BRETT, at HLGNY.com, or you can call the office 631-465-9797.
Well said. Well said. I keep saying well said, man, because you're just saying so much. You're dropping so many bars, so much knowledge. And I thank you for being a guest here on Loudr Lawyer.
It was fun. I probably talked too much, but
no, man, you didn't talk enough. I mean, I'm just soaking up I'm like a sponge, just acronym. So the acronym I came up with, Brett, it fits perfect. Don't you forget that one right there.
Yeah, I do like it, which stands for Brett brings, B stands for brings calmness, R stands for responds quickly, E stands for earns trust, T stands for translates complexity, and the other T stands for treats clients like family.
Hey, well said. And your family here with us, man. So stick around.
I'm going to come see you in July when I'm out in San Diego.
Hey, we look forward to having you here. Thanks for being on Loudr Lawyer Network, buddy.
Thanks for inviting me.
All right.
Thanks for being a part of the Loudr Lawyer Network. If you're enjoying the conversation, let us know. Give us a like and subscribe to never miss a thing. We'll see you next time right here on the Loudr Lawyer Network.